why we have to win these elections, why the liberal family has to continue to be the third political force in Europe and strengthen ourselves, because the challenges are huge in Europe. Despite of what some people say, the crisis is not over. We have to continue our work. 26 million Europeans have no work today. 54% of young Greeks. 57% of young people in Spain. So this crisis is not over. And it is true, this crisis, and it's the main problem of today. The main problem we face is fueling nationalism, is fueling populism, is fueling Euroscepticism, is promoting what I could say as easy solutions. In fact, it are not solutions. It are simply simplistic and fake solutions. And rather than solutions, I call them lies. Lies that people are tricked into today. It is not true, dear friends. It is not true that the crisis will suddenly end if we leave the Union and if we leave the Euro. And that is what follow populism and Euroscepticism. All our problems will disappear. Disappear once we retreat behind our national borders. That is what Farage, that is what Grillo, that is what Wilders, that is what Le Pen are saying. And their whole traveling circus of Islamophobes, anti-Semites, and British separatists. They want us to believe that everything shall disappear if we retreat behind national borders. And they are deadly serious about it. They are deadly serious when they say that national borders will protect us from everything. From climate change, from terrorism, from migration, from toxic financial products coming from the other side of the ocean. That's finished if we retreat behind our national borders. From cheap Chinese goods dumped on our markets, even from unemployment that shall disappear when we are protected behind our national borders. Once we shut our front door, all these problems, all these challenges shall immediately disappear, melts as snow in the sun. Well, I ask you, friends, who can believe such nonsense? Who can believe that in a globalized world, these problems can be solved by 28 different national policies, 28 different national strategies on the level of 28 different member states in the European Union? And moreover, I have to tell you, I get really cross. I get really cross when I see the Eurosceptics demolishing the EU from the inside, when at the same time, at the outside, people are dying in Kiev, in the streets, to join our European Union, friends. I get really cross. The Eurosceptics and the extreme right practice the politics of destruction, in fact. Or better, the politics of fear. And we do the opposite. We do the opposite. We practice the politics of courage to overcome the fear that exists in our societies. And they turn their back on the real world. We do the opposite. We face the world. We face the future with our eyes wide open. So as the citizens of Ukraine need Europe for their freedom and for their democracy, we also need Europe. We need Europe to tackle our challenges, to tackle our problems. The financial crisis, climate change, international crime, illegal migration. We need Europe, but not this Europe. Not the old-style Europe, the Europe of the conservatives and of the socialists. A Europe, and that is true, that brought us peace, but a Europe that is also in decline because of the bad socialist and conservative recipes. And they have brought these recipes, a Europe where younger generations today are looking for the first time outside the European borders to their own future, to their own destiny. A Europe that is also far too divided to play in the world a decisive role. And conservatives, let's start with them, because I have to talk about them a few words. Conservatives are too often satisfied with simply what exists. What I call the status quo. They fear, in fact, change. They fear and they hate reforms. And we see that in a number of things. We see that in the completion of the internal market, in the digital agenda, in the free trade negotiations, Karel, with the United States. And when action is needed, they prefer always, I should say, a loose intergovernmental approach, producing complicated solutions, as we see now again with the resolution mechanism in the banking union. And they are, let me say it in one word, the political movement of too little, too late. That is maybe a better name for them. While change, friends, is urgently needed, while reform is absolutely key. And not only, let me tell you that to my liberal friends, not only in the fight against the economic crisis, but also in defending our European values and our civil liberties. Because no, dear friends, women's rights, LGBT rights are not the sole matter for the member states, as the Conservatives are saying. They are European rights. They are European values. And no, it is not enough when the NSA stops bugging Merkel's phone. It is the privacy of all the European citizens that is at stake today. And whether it is in Hungary, or in Turkey, or in China, or in Russia, in Ukraine, or in Syria, in every corner of the world, we as liberals will always defend the right to privacy, the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, in short, the freedom of people to express who they are and what they stand for. And that is the difference between conservatives and real liberals as we are.